So lately, dealing with everything that we've been dealing with and facing, something that I have learned and decided to do is to make amends, I guess, with people who who I feel I need to make amends with. I know I'm not alone in saying that we all have somebody that we probably need to make amends with, a family member. Our son, our daughter, a father, mother, whatever it might be. As most of you know that have been on the channel for a little while, a couple months ago I lost my grandmother. She was like my mother. She raised me when I was younger. She was a motherly figure up until about 5 years ago. And then we had stopped speaking, and it, I was partially to blame for the reason why we stopped speaking, and she was partially to blame. So I made sure that I did my part to make amends as soon as I was able to put my pride to the side. As most of you know, in 2004 I lost my mother. She was killed in a car accident, and I didn't make amends with her. So I dealt with that grief, with that regret. That was a huge burden on my shoulders, and that's what led to me getting high for the first time. I didn't want to repeat that. So when me and my grandmother had stopped talking, I reached out to her, wrote a letter a couple times, and just told her, look, I'm sorry for whatever part I played in us having a miscommunication or us not speaking. I apologize. I hope you forgive me. And she chose, basically not to forgive me, or I don't know if she chose to forgive me or not, but she chose not to continue a relationship with me. And I was all right with that. Of course I would have rather had it been, continue a relationship. That was my grandmother. I would have much rather had that relationship with her than not. But at the same time, I was all right with it being, with not having that relationship, because I knew at the end of the day that I did everything that I had to do to make amends. I went more than halfway, and she just chose not to reciprocate that. So at the end of the day, when she passed, I was at peace knowing that I did everything that I could in my power to make amends for anything that I did wrong. I apologize for some stuff that I didn't even do wrong. And, so in turn, that leads me to a decision I made a couple weeks ago, which was to contact my father. As once again, as most of you know that watch the channel, is me and my father haven't had a relationship. I hadn't spoken to him in years. We still haven't spoke. We've texted, and I know that health wise he's not doing well. So it sort of put things in perspective and made me want to reach out and just speak to him. That's my father at the end of the day. I might not agree with decisions he's made in the past. I might not be happy with them, whatever. But at the end of the day, it's my father, and especially I think after losing one parent, you realize how important that relationship is with that parent, with that last surviving parent. And and when I reached out to him, it was a little uncomfortable, and I don't even know if uncomfortable is the right word to use. It might have been a little awkward. There was a lot of time spent that we hadn't communicated with each other 3 or 4 years, and just right before I made this video, I got an email from him. And he went to the hospital and found out his health isn't doing too well. My father was shot when he was younger. As a result of that, he was shot numerous times. As a result of that, one of the times he was shot in the neck. So as a result of that, he's paralyzed today. He's in a wheelchair, and he can't get around the way he used to. So in turn, he's having difficulties with his health. Major's never seen my father. He asks about him. He just asks, "Dad, do you have a dad?" Stuff like that. And I tell him, yeah, and that's about it. And we just change the subject, And so I just encourage you guys, if you have a family member, if you have somebody that you feel as though you need to make amends, I encourage you guys to do that. Listen, and sometimes it's not even about forgiving or forgetting or starting over or anything like that. It's just about making peace. Sometimes, that means not wishing peace for them, but wishing peace for ourselves, or wishing peace for each other in a situation, And I think with family, that's extremely hard to do. Listen, I know when I'm going through something with my family, I'll hold that grudge way, way longer than I'll hold it as if it was a stranger or a family member or something like that. So I encourage you guys, life is way too short, and we're experiencing that. I think now, I know myself, I'm starting to realize that a lot of stuff that I take for granted can easily be taken from me with everything that's going on in the world today. Tomorrow isn't guaranteed. Nothing in life is guaranteed, but that one day we will not wake up. We will perish. That's really the only thing that's guaranteed. So if there's somebody out there that you need to make amends to, I encourage you guys to make those amends. And it doesn't even have to be, "I'm sorry, I miss you, I want to see you, let's pick up where we left off." It doesn't have to be any of that. It could just be as simple as, "How are you doing? Was thinking about you. I hope you're okay." Something as simple as that. Because you don't want it to be too late. You don't ever want to live with the woulda, coulda, shoulda. I wish I would have done this. I should have done this. I could have done this. It's not a good feeling to have. I had to deal with that for years surrounding my mother and when she died. 4 years I had to deal with that. It's been 16 years, and I'm just in the past year or two able to get over that and deal with that in a positive way, I guess, in a healthy way. I don't have to self-medicate to deal with it. And through that, that let me know that I refuse to allow that to happen in any other relationship in my life. That I will make sure I go at least 50% of the way to make amends for any relationships that aren't the best in my life. I encourage you guys to do the same. And also, we also know too, there's sometimes some relationships that we have that they're best left damaged and no contact. And I think each one of us knows when that relationship is to that point. There's people in my life that I just know I have no desire to have a relationship with them whatsoever, and I know it's for the best. But if it's not to that point, I encourage you guys, don't let it get to that point. It doesn't feel good. So I thank you guys. Hit that like button, subscribe. When we get to 25,000 subscribers, we're going to be doing a giveaway. So I thank you guys from the bottom of my heart. Have a great day. Have a great night. Thank you.